Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack.
Uh-oh, where are we here? Hang on. We're working on it.
I can add myself.
There we go. Much better, much better. Don't you add yourself. You're unqualified.
That's never stopped me.
No, that is true. That is actually very true.
It's actually like a green means go if you're unqualified. Go, 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 mofo.
All right. Boy, this is a blast from the past. I'm in the old studio. We're all
I know.
together.
What's going on? Why are you still there?
Kind of freaky. Yeah, you know what? Let's get AJ in here too. Come on, let's have a reunion of everybody.
What's up, Bulldog?
So nice to see you, sir.
Good nice to see you too, man.
I usually have to make an appointment to see the Don of the Sports Mafia, and every time I try, I'm rejected. So
No, we're good. We're good. We're good. I'm you know what? To be honest, I'm happy you guys called me this week because next week is the groundbreaking for Chapman. So I'm happy to be on this week.
well, yeah.
Oh, so you're big timing us next week?
Me and Cindy. Yes.
Okay. You know,
The guy who behind this can big time us whenever he wants.
no.
Explain. You said groundbreaking. Explain what that is to our audience.
So in addition to the Mel's, as part of the Mel's,
Millsville.
Mel'sville that's going up.
Yeah.
They're building a Chapman Sports, which is the company I work for, a Chapman Sports complex.
Okay.
And the groundbreaking for it is next Tuesday
Cool.
from 4:30 to 7:30. So
Is that out in Saukville, like Millsville?
yeah, it will be attached to Mel'sville. So
Right on.
It'll be part of Mel'sville. It'll be the big sports complex for the basketball program I work for, and it will be the big complex. So it'll be cool. So,
Really nice. Yeah. Yeah. We tried to
AJ,
make,
I got a sports complex. My teams don't win no freaking championships. That's my sports complex. I'm getting
yeah, I know. I feel you on that one, Jack. I feel you on that one.
rough night in Chicago last night for the Brew Crew.
Did you watch AJ?
I did watch.
The whole thing?
The whole thing, Jack.
What the hell happened? How did they only get one run?
Well, Tobias made an error and threw the ball away on a wild pitch, so that cost them a run. They actually only give up like 4 hits. Like I think it was a total of 7 hits and 3 runs. So it wasn't a bad pitching night. It was just a bad offensive night.
Who was pitching for the Cubs? You were watching very well, paying attention. I see.
Javier Assad. Which he put it this way: the Brewers lost the game and they walked 6 times in the first 4 innings.
All right, I don't want to hear any more about it. I'm done with it.
Should we take a look at our ex skipper Craig Counsell from a few days ago? Let's take a look at this. This is kind of fun.
Just like the at bats, big in like the 7th inning with Morel. There's a time run at second. He's look like you're swinging for the leg there. I don't know. What do you think about some of those?
Come on, Jesse. That's your comment.
Wow, mama, this had me cracking up.
I think Chicago Craig isn't nearly as patient as Milwaukee Craig.
I think Chicago Craig's he's got a few more media outlets there that are on his ass.
He's not nearly as fun either.
No.
His expression there is not nearly as fun.
No, he wasn't fun. He wasn't fun here. He was all business. That's not a surprise. Now, what you're on too early, AJ. For God's sakes, I want to talk to Bulldog. You can stay on, but we're not talking sports yet.
I'm sorry.
All right. There are
grovel appropriately, will you?
There's nothing going on in the world worth talking about because there's no news. Nothing is going on. So, Bulldog, I sent you an article about the 30 funniest movies of all time.
Okay.
Did you go through the list?
No. But I got these. These are dancing hot dogs. Come on, ladies. Kick, kick, kick. There we go.
What is the mustard? What's the mustard? What's the mustard doing there?
Not sure what to say to that.
Russ Meyer. Here we go. Bulldog started talking about sports. See, Russ Meyer got a little jab in at you early, Bulldog. At like 5:30 this morning, he said, "You guys gonna do a show like sometime soon in the future?" You know?
This is why we keep our audience, because Jack actually needles them and makes fun of them.
Of him, our audience, him.
Of course, he's just the writer, so we get to abuse him whenever we want.
That's right. But today is a really big day. You
Yes.
know
Why? Oh, what has he got? Get ready to duck. Oh no! Half-eaten corn day. That's my favorite holiday.
The first Wheaties corn
okay.
of the season.
All right.
And
What'd you put on it?
Wheaties, you don't have to put a little salt. You don't even have to put any butter on it. So goddamn
You
good.
gotta put butter on it.
No, I used to
get
think
that.
Wrong.
All right.
It's pure. Come on, bitch. That's the way corn's meant to be eaten.
Come on.
Is that the blend? Is that the name of the particular crop? Is the come on bitch crop? Wheaties will be thrilled knowing that we're referring to it as such.
Yeah. Our corn's bitching. That's their new slogan.
Yes, I was wondering if you had any of that come on bitch corn that Jack was talking about on the show yesterday.
I say.
No, I was just wondering.
I don't want the bastard corn. I want the bitch
No. The mofo corn is not nearly as good.
Yo, mofo.
There we go.
Bulldog is back in town.
You can tell, can't you?
You can tell.
Good.
Can tell. All right.
So 30 comedies that I didn't look at.
You didn't look at it? Honest to God.
I've seen them all, I'm sure, but I didn't look at
All right.
them.
Let's see if you've seen them all. These are not in order of ranking, but just order of when they came out.
Okay. We're going to start old. Okay.
Sure. We'll rip through them.
All right.
The General.
Buster Keaton. Yes, love it. Amazing. Incredible stunt work.
1926.
Yep.
Duck Soup.
Marx Brothers. Used to be my favorite Marx Brothers, but now Animal Crackers is my favorite Marx Brothers.
What?
These things happen.
That mirror scene in Duck Soup is like a movie unto itself.
It's amazing.
It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
All right, number 3. It Happened One Night, 1934.
Clark Gable. Very good. It's not one of my favorites, but I like it.
All right. 1936. Charlie Chaplin's first appearance. Do you know the movie?
His first appearance probably the Gold Rush?
No. First appearance on this list. 1936.
36 might be the City Lights?
Nope.
No.
You want me to say it? Or you
Modern Times.
Yes.
Okay.
And?
Greatness. Wonderful. You can't go wrong with Chaplin ever.
Okay.
Ever.
Bring number 5. 1938, Bringing Up Baby.
Very first screwball comedy. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time. I gotta watch it again. I saw it when I was younger, and I haven't gotten around to.
Looks like Katharine Hepburn from the picture.
Is that her? Paula Goddard. Yeah, something like yeah, probably. It's fun.
Yep. Number 6, The Apartment, 1960.
Masterpiece. Jack Lemmon, directed by Billy Wilder. Possibly one could argue one of the few 8 perfect movies. There's nothing wrong with it. There's a single thing you can say that's wrong with that movie.
Why isn't that one better known, Bulldog?
It's dark. There's a lot of darkness in there. There's actually hints of suicide, and it's got some dark elements to it.
Through a more subdued tone, beautiful performances, and an overwhelmingly big heart, Wilder's film about 2 lonely people finding their way to each other through a twisted circumstances exudes a sense of warmth and honesty that persists 6 decades later.
Yes.
While also delivering laughs. I've never seen that one. I've got to see that one.
It's perfect.
Number 7. I know you love this one. You just had in the Cine Club, the Cine Snobs.
Dr. Strangelove?
Yes.
Yeah, and it was funny. I wasn't sure how that was going to play to our current Cine audience.
And how many are in there? All 3 of them?
I think we scored 6 that night. But they were guffawing all evening, so it was fun.
I got to see that one.
A lot of chuckles.
Number 8, I've seen and rented many times back when you could rent video cassettes.
Holiday liquor in Thiensville.
1970, M star, A star, S star, H.
That would be, of course, Suicide is Painless, MASH.
And I asked you about Elliot Gould and what was his, why did he disappear so long? I know we talked about that in previous shows. We don't have to go into it now, but I something about him. There's some people you just like to see on screen. He's one of those people.
He's great. No, he was very funny. Yeah, he laid some eggs and forced some turkeys after MASH, and then that just torpedoed his career. So
who doesn't?
I know. Like we might tonight yet.
Yep.
So
yeah, and last week and the week before. But don't worry about that.
Eventually.
Number 9, Blazing Saddles, 1974.
I mean, you're talking about comedies. I mean, that's like one of those perfect comedies too. Where like, what's great about Blazing Saddles is it never takes a moment to pull at the heartstrings or pathos. It is just like, dare I say, balls to the wall comedy.
2 things I love about it.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, it is
Fearless.
a balls to the wall comedy, but it also has an underlying message.
It does,
which is just anti-racism, which people don't get because they hear the words in it. And number 2, the story of Mel Brooks at the first screening, the president of who put it out, I don't know.
Yeah, Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Warner Brothers had him come to in the theater in a room and said, I'm going to tell you all the things you got to do. And he nailed like 33 things. One of them was getting rid of the first. And he said, okay, I got you. He said, as soon as the guy walked out, he crumpled up paper and threw it out.
Right.
And didn't do a damn thing. And he said, that's all you have to do. And I thought,
can't get away with that anymore. No, now
you think?
it's all very corporate. No, there's no way. They would.
Number 10 is one of my favorites. 1974, Young Frankenstein.
More Mel Brooks. Yeah, definitely. Talk about a 1-2 punch. I mean, those are back-to-back movies. Good Lord.
Oh. And interesting story of how that one came about. Number 11, Monty Python and Holy Grail, 1975.
Not my favorite Python movie, but still very funny.
Number 12, The Jerk, 1979.
Very good movie. Yeah, Steve Martin. It's amazing. I just rewatched it recently. Actually, I showed it to my son, and I love. It's one of the ways I try to eliminate my son because he has really bad asthma. So I'll put on big comedies, and then I'll have to hit the inhaler all night. I can always tell by Airplane was a 9-hit night on the inhaler. I think The Jerk was like a 5-hit. Caddyshack was like a 15-hit night.
Caddyshack's a sneaky one.
It is.
To me.
It is. So a lot of fun. Carl Reiner and when Carl Reiner teamed up with Steve Martin for multiple movies, that was just kind of a match made in heaven. So yeah.
Steve Martin, in his really interesting biography, Born Standing Up, talks really glowingly of Carl Reiner and how he was the first person in his life that ever injected unrestrained sense of glee into everything he did, which was, and he used humor to talk to people and say, you can't do it this way. You got to do it this way. So interesting stuff.
Yes.
You mentioned Airplane, number 13, 1980. And I know you haven't done it because I always ask you to do these things and you don't.
I don't know.
But that audio book of that movie, of that book about by 3 guys.
I read the book. I read the one you're talking about. I actually finally got the actual book, and I just don't do audiobooks.
Even with them, when they're reading it, I have to say, audiobooks when the author's reading it, fan-fucking-tastic.
It's great. I just, for some reason, I don't absorb things well that way. It says the radio guy.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Audiophile.
I want everyone to listen to me. I don't want to listen to you. You see?
I gotcha. This one shocked me. Number 14, 9 to 5.
Well done comedy. Good
1980.
Satire.
Yeah. Don't have much to say about that one. The next one I absolutely love.
You know what you can say about 9 to 5?
What?
The secret weapon is Dabney Coleman in that movie. Because he has to play a chauvinistic bastard, and he does it really well.
Launched his career.
Yeah.
He's good in everything after that. And speaking of which, I believe he was in the next one, number 15, Tootsie, 1982.
Ah, yes, great movie. Great movie. Yeah.
That was a great movie.
It's well done. Yeah. Sidney Pollack was the director on that one. Yeah.
Yep.
Very good.
Yep. And then number 16, this is a movie I had to force Margot to watch with me, which she denies, but she absolutely loves it for the right reasons. Quotes the right quotes and likes the great secondary characters of Ghostbusters, 1984.
Yeah.
Love it.
That movie was supposed to be Belushi and Aykroyd, and obviously that didn't work out. And thank God it didn't in some ways, because I think Bill Murray is exactly what that movie needed.
Oh my God, definitely.
So there we go.
Number 17, Lost in America, 1985.
Oh, perfect comedy. Albert Brooks is. I would follow Albert Brooks to the end of the earth. He's brilliant and perfect. So yeah.
Okay. 18. You don't. This is so much beyond you, because I can't believe you said this.
All right.
About when I brought it up last time.
I bet
Princess
you
Bride.
Princess Bride. Yes. It's fine.
Fine.
It's
It's
fine.
not fine. AJ,
It's
did you ever watch
fine.
Princess Bride? Is he there?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No. Oh
No.
God. You don't say no.
You're ever in the mood for a fine movie?
Fucking
It's
fine.
okay.
Oh, God. All right, number 19, best holiday movie. Well, one of the best holiday movies ever. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles,
I know, okay.
1987.
Yes. Yes.
There we go. All right. Endorsement.
Yes.
That I've seen.
Oh, so many. You know, Bulldog, you're always over the top. I'm more subtle in my delivery of stuff.
Oh, very much so. Every time I read the reviews of your show, you
And
bring up your subtlety.
suck my subtlety. But oh, what a great movie. And sad. I'm sad every time I see it because we lost John Candy way
Indeed.
too early.
Well, that's true.
Number 20, Coming to America.
Great movie.
Good movie. Yeah, it's good.
AJ likes it.
Yeah.
Bulldog is not buying it.
Although I like anything that Eddie Murphy's in. So
Yeah, it's a good movie. I didn't laugh as much as I wanted to for that one. I don't know. I thought it was it was amusing, and but to put on the 30 greatest just seems I don't know, misplaced.
That's one of the worst. Talk about backhanded compliments you could say for a comedy. It was amusing.
Well, it's better than being unamusing.
No, I mean
Like Transylvania 65000 with that Jeff Goldblum. Unamusing.
I didn't hate it.
Right.
Number 21.
It was in focus.
Our first Saturday Night Live really skit entry.
What, the Coneheads?
Wayne's World,
Oh,
1992.
it's fine.
Oh,
It's fine.
that's worse than amusing. AJ, did you ever see Wayne's World?
I think I have seen parts of it.
No. Okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Number 22, Groundhog Day,
Good. Very, very, very well done movie.
93.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I heard the story about how they were warring back and forth with each other by that time.
Yeah, that was the
It
end of
wasn't
the
very good.
Harold
Yeah.
Ramis, Bill Murray partnership, which is
don't-
kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. Number 23. I've never even heard of this one, Bulldog, which shouldn't surprise you. 1995,
Mm-hmm.
Friday.
Yes, that is
I've
with
seen-
Chris Tucker and Ice. One of the ices, Ice Cube or Ice Tea.
Cube.
So one of the
Ice
ices.
Ice Cube.
Ice
Yeah.
Cube. AJ,
That's
you sound like you know this one.
Yeah, I've seen it. There was a stretch there where we played it at the house every single day.
It's a daily movie. I like
Yeah.
that.
Lisa and Doug played at the house every day.
No.
Wrong
no.
house.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, Doug strikes me as a Ice Cube fan. Yeah, I wish he would turn it down. I got all that bass coming out of his car every time he rolls through Sheboygan Falls.
That was the what I like to call it, the third shift movie. That was
Very good. Absolutely. There you go.
Number 24, 1995, Clueless.
Good. I
Again.
don't find it side splitting, or we're talking comedies here. If I'm not laughing, there's a problem, and it's fine.
That's charm and style. It says blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Okay. Number 25, Best in Show 2000.
Side splitting. No, that one that causes your lungs to close from laughing quite a bit. I think Waiting for Guffman's funnier than Best in Show, but oh damn, that's a funny movie. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I know people who are so devotees of that movie. They just freaking.
Well, they might be like deep dog people, and they get that world right.
Deep Dog.
Deep dog.
Deep Dog. This next one, I don't think is that funny at all. You guys will disagree. Number 26, 2004, Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
Side splitting. Love every minute of it.
What? You don't think that's funny?
I don't think it's funny.
That movie destroyed me. I laughed like a beat purple faced. Yeah, no, I loved
Come
every
on,
minute
come
of it.
on, Jack. You don't like being in a glass case of emotion?
It has a cologne called Sex Panther, for God's sakes.
It's just not funny. I go,
That's because you use it.
I go, it's not even funny. It's like,
Someone ran through the newsroom screaming, "It smells like a diaper filled with Indian food." Tell me that's not side splitting.
You can like your stinkers. That's okay.
All right.
It ain't making it on my list.
Nearly perfect.
Or even close to my list.
I didn't care for Anchorman 2 as much. There were a couple laughs on. That wasn't as good. But Anchorman, no. Probably, no. Perfect.
Do you like Will Ferrell?
Depends what he's doing. I think he tries.
AJ, would you like Will Ferrell?
To quote Will Ferrell, the meatloaf. Ma, the meatloaf. Yeah, I love it.
Now that was a funny part for him. That was probably his finest movie in cinema. Moment in cinema. Yeah, I'll do a review. Yeah.
Did a film called Blades of Steel, some like weird figure skating comedy, and there are people who love that movie, and I haven't seen it, so I can't actually comment.
Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory. I'm sorry, Blades of Glory. Yeah.
God,
it's
AJ's correcting Bulldog left and right.
It's okay. It's not that great.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. People seem to dig it quite a bit, but
Really?
yes. What else
All
we got
right.
on that list there? We got
I got three more. Shut up.
the green room's getting full.
Shaun of the Dead,
Very good.
2004.
Very funny. Very funny.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Big laughs.
Hey, you got anything you want to add, AJ?
Never seen it.
All right, good. Number 28, I do not agree. It's all right. It's amusing. It's fine. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I never saw it.
No,
What?
Never got
Are
around
you
to it.
seeing a movie that you've never seen?
Well, I was probably busy watching
day is
something from Truffaut or Godard or perhaps a Fellini film
yeah.
while you were over the next theater over watching Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
It was just so depressing.
it
Right.
was.
It's like-
It was.
Yeah. So AJ, yes. All right. 29.
These guys didn't like
Bridesmaids.
it much. Look, they just finished it.
Bridesmaids, 2011.
Didn't
What do you think?
Didn't understand the concept, but I liked the movie.
It's funny. That's funny.
Oh,
I
you
liked it.
guys, my kids think that's one of the funniest movies. Oh, Margot says classic.
Wait a minute.
They got to show your face. You can't.
That's
crawl.
a
Get
union
over here,
violation.
Margot. She just crawled up to hand me a new drink.
Bless her. Can she crawl over to Hanover? I can have I'm a little dry over here. Help me out, Margo.
I'm dying here.
My coffee's
Number
getting
30. All right, tell me you've heard this. I know you would. Pop star never stops stopping. Do you know that one?
No.
Whoa!
The hell is it?
It says
Oh, Pop Star. Yeah, I remember that came
the
out.
Dewey Cox story.
Walk Hard.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
that's
says,
brilliant.
Wait. May have perfectly lampooned the standard musical biopic formula, but even the instant classic never rose to such meta hilarious heights as Pop Star. So it's not that one.
Oh, so it's
See,
not
and
Walk
this is
Hard.
funny.
Okay. Yeah.
The Lonely Island lampoon of all access music acts like Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, and the Jonas Brothers.
That's Andy Samberg in that, maybe? I
trying
might
to
be
see.
wrong.
It just says here, though the songs are the real star because no one does genuinely catchy pop beats with ridiculous lyrics like the Lonely Island. Rewatching Pop Star now reveals a film genuinely devoted to earnest core of its narrative. It may be one of the silliest films in recent memory, but it has an actual heart and it's in the right place.
Nice. Interesting.
That's a
Yeah,
nice
there are people who like that quite a bit. I know that. That didn't seem like my kind of film, but I'll give it a look.
Yeah, one you haven't seen.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Doing pretty good here.
There's some revealing shit going on here.
Well.
Today. All right, AJ, you got 4 minutes for sports. Go.
That's okay. That's okay.
Give us the curling scores.
No,
Yes.
that's okay. So Brewers lost last night 3-1. Olympic flag bearers were announced.
Okay. Do you approve?
Yes, I do. I do because the NBA is the most popular game in the world. I believe that the NBA, I believe that besides soccer, those faces are recognizable in the world. So I believe that that's what I believe. So.
Okay. Don't agree. Shouldn't be in there. Shouldn't be the flag bearer, but
No,
it's amusing.
Well, I'm not
It's
saying
fine.
LeBron. I'm not saying LeBron should be. I agree with Giannis being,
There you go.
but I'm not saying LeBron should be. But I think Simone. If I would have done it over, I would have thought Simone Biles would be.
Yes.
Like the
I want her and Kobe.
Kobe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, you. Well, we can't.
I have questions.
We can't have that, Jeff.
Oh, sure we can. We didn't do anything. Get some 3D glasses. Kobe could be there, right there.
Put a video in there. Make it a hologram.
There you go.
We're in
Hologram of
2024.
Kobe.
Make it a
That
hologram
would be
of Kobe.
now. That would be bitching.
Mr. Spock, can we do this? Are we allowed to do this here on the Enterprise?
That'd be fun. But yeah, I disagree with the fact that LeBron should be the flag bearer, but I think it should have been Simone, but that's just me. Or Simone, or the girl who does the 400, Sydney McLaughlin.
You love her.
She's very good, man. She's very good.
You said she's a beast the other night. You said that on
She's
the
very good. She's very good at what she does, and she's dropped. She ran 49 in the trial, so I can't wait to see what she does in the Olympics. So it'd be fun.
Okay. All right. Well, the Olympics are starting, sure, but the real major sporting event in the world is coming up on Saturday.
Palooza. Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
That's oh. The opening ceremonies. That's what they do with Mel every year.
Mel's in the cannon. He just doesn't know it yet.
Oh, he knows.
Listen to AJ with an attitude. He just doesn't know yet.
No. But I'll be there. I'm excited. I'll be there from 4 to 7:30, so I'm excited.
Excellent.
Fun.
Well, you can hang with Mel, can't you? You can hang with him. You don't have to go anywhere tonight, do you?
Yeah.
You can hang on. All right, good.
Yeah, I'll hang,
Actually, you'll need AJ because I'm going to get the back half of the show ready with the reel from Dr. Ben. So while you two tee off on Mel,
I'll
I'm
hang
gonna,
on for sure.
I'm gonna back away. So please ask Mel about his food truck. I didn't know about that. That's cool as hell. Like Mel on the move or something. We got to grill him about that because that.
I have a feeling I know Let's see.
If they're gonna be slinging them Sammys, I mean, let the hell with it. Let's bring them in. I can't take it anymore. Hell, food truck. What?
Boy, I remember back in the day you were Bulldog, now Bulldoggy.
I've been demoted.
Yes, boy, I remember back in the powerful days, and you would have to leave now. But yes,
shot.
Mel's on the move food trailer. Breaking news. We can offer more information later, but it's another great partnership. It's a separate nonprofit. And so Steve and Mary, who ran Wayne's Drive-In for over 25 years, they approached us and said, you know what, we really believe in your mission. We love, obviously, the food industry. So it was their idea. And they formed their own board, got their own nonprofit, and they are kicking in substantially a donation to Mel's.
Wow.
For that food truck. It's a food trailer. They'll be pulled by a truck.
Is this Steve Melikowski Maka? Is that?
Yes. The name looks like the Bob and I chart. It's really going to be a cool thing. Slow and steady wins the race. We're not, obviously with them being in the food industry or restaurant industry, we are not out to take away business from local restaurants. That's the last thing we want to do. So it'd be like mostly at our events. It'll be a lot easier than lugging tables and chairs around and tents. And then, pick and choose spots, throughout the year we can use it. But yeah, Bulldog, we'll be, you could probably just drive right by and we could just throw one of those famous pork Sammys right out the window. I have an
old catcher's mitt and a sunroof. Let's make it happen.
Oy vey, you cannot have your sunroof open. That is the heathen devil's meat that they're making with the Sammys.
Yom Kippur's coming along, and that's where I atone. So let's rack up some sins. Come on,
let's rack up some sins. That might be the best Bulldog line ever. Of course, it doesn't have much competition.
Not too much, no.
I like that. Let's rack up some sins.
All right, you boys behave. I'm going to go do some twisting of knobs. Mel, good to see you.
See you, Bulldog.
God, that sounded kind of dirty.
All right, here
Mel.
we go.
All right.
Going to the dark side
You
here.
bet. You bet. Thanks for joining us, Mel.
All right, this is awesome. Hi,
you're-
AJ.
Hey, Mel.
Now,
So-
for the people that don't know how we met, just over 2 years ago, Mel, we
Yes, sir.
celebrated our 2-year anniversary on July 5th with
You and AJ.
Yes,
Sir.
first
Oh my
show ever.
gosh. No,
July 5th.
that's the beauty of this whole Mel's thing, and Jack, what you're doing, and then AJ's life crossing with mine, and just my wife calls me AJ. You're too young, but my wife calls me Mr. Haney from Green Acres because I really don't know how to do anything, but I can connect people that I think would be a good fit, and there's not a better fit than you two. Bulldog once in a while, but you two, peanut butter and jelly, whatever. You guys just go together great. I love seeing how this is going.
Mr. Henke, I've got a sports guy
Oh,
for you
hey.
on the back of my truck.
I thought you were back in the. Don't you have like a mute button, Jack, or something?
Oh
or-
my God! Yeah, I wish I had. His points are moot, and I wish he was mute, but he's not. So onward. Let's talk. So the food truck is big news, but even bigger and more immediate is this weekend. Mel, what's going on?
So Saturday, Mellapalooza, and it's a one-day event now. It used to be Friday and Saturday, but as we continue to change in this society, and I think it's kind of sad. I mean, Jack, you remember growing up, every night there was softball games being played down at all the parks, and all the guys were playing, and all these different leagues and teams, sort of like bowling too. And there's just not as many youngins playing softball anymore.
Well,
So we have turned it into a one day. So at 9:00, there will be, I think, 5 or 6 teams where these guys will attempt to hit a white softball with a wood bat.
and it's slow pitch, like the high pitch stuff, right?
Right, slow pitch. And it's also what's really cool about it, it's one pitch. So just picture yourself, like I can't see you, Jack, strolling up to the plate with a Louisville Slugger in your hands, but you stand there and the pitcher throws the ball up in the air,
Yep.
and there's a mat behind home plate. And if you stand there with the bat on your shoulder and it hits that mat, you take that long, lonely walk back to the dugout. One pitch. If the pitcher misses it, you get a walk or you got to hit the ball. And the best part about this, I played softball for years, and you played with aluminum bat and juiced up ball, and you'd play in a double elimination softball tournament that would start like on Friday,
Right.
and you'd get home on Thursday night like with a hamburger wrapper in your front seat, and a beer, plastic cup. Like where in the last 5 days, they lasted forever.
Right.
So these games, I mean, if they go 40 minutes, they just keep going, and
That's beautiful.
so
that really
that's
is.
I'm
That's
sorry.
beautiful. The 40-minute length approximate is beautiful.
Yeah.
Because those things would go on too long. I love the one
You
pitch
get all
thing.
these softball lunkheads that think they're God's gift. And then we just have breaking news from our friends at Out Now, next door to us here. They're going to have MVPs of each game, and they're going to get a certificate to go knock something down at Out Now.
Oh, that's
kind of nice.
AJ
So
has
that
had
one
some of the
pitch
fine
tournament-
Sundays from there.
That one pitch tournament should end probably like around 5:30, and then the real men start playing. That's when the Rod Wilterdink All-Stars. Now, my wife Nancy just had her left knee replaced. So we're over at the Orthopedic Hospital, the one over on Port Road. They're awesome.
Mhm.
So here we are. I don't know, I think Nancy was walking at the time after her surgery. And who comes around the corner but one Rocket Rod Wilterdink?
Really?
He was getting, he was just getting a tune-up so he could still keep playing softball. So I think he had, I don't know what they call it, minor, but like a little minor back surgery.
It's only minor surgery if it's on somebody else. That's
Correct.
what I was-
But, still just full of life and
Yep.
talking about Mel's and asking how Nancy was doing. I mean, nobody better than Rod Wilterdink. And so he will be there. I'm guessing he will be coaching, but it's kind of cool.
Excuse me if I could.
Yeah.
Rod Wilterdink was my 7th and 8th grade basketball coach.
Oh my
He
God.
was tough. He was
Hanky,
tough. Yep.
Let's tell you how long he's been around. That was at Webster, I take it?
Yes. Yep. Webster Transitional School. I didn't transition, but I left.
So we were talking about how for the youngins, the softball, it's hard to find guys playing. Well, the leagues that they have up at Centennial Park for the senior league, they had to add another league.
What?
Yeah, so it starts, I think, like at 55 or 60 and over. And now I think they have a 75 and over.
Oh,
or 70. I don't play, but those leagues are growing because those guys love playing and they commit to things.
Yeah.
These younger guys, I'll come down and play one game and then they want to play the whole year. So that league's growing. So they have some type of, I don't know, they must sit down in the basement somewhere and figure out who the all-stars are.
There you go.
So
let me know what your pick is.
Yeah.
I heard Biden's joining next year. He's got some time on his hands. So
he might be on the disabled list for a while.
Maybe.
He's on a retroactive 90-day. So you have the you leave him alone.
You be nice, Jack.
Yeah. I'd even like to see the big bloated guy trying.
I'm going to try to be nice here, but we could have him go throwing out the first pitch, and all of a sudden I can just see him turning him the right way. Like, no, the catcher's this way.
Oh wow!
That would be Dr. Jill.
Folks, this is a bunch of malarkey.
Hey, we're all battling something. So hey, even we can, our soon to be former president, we're all battling something.
That's right.
If we can't laugh at ourselves, then you know what? It's got to go time. So we got the Rob Willerdink All-Stars playing, and then what really turned this into a special night too. This has been going on for a couple of years now. It's the first responders game, and it's mostly Cedarburg versus Grafton, and there's no trash talk in there. I mean, some of these guys have been practicing all week, but it's again community, family friendly, people just having fun. And then at starting at 3:00, we got Midnight Train, which is a country Western band, and then Maserati was more classic rock. Again, Dave Grimacki, he graduated from Grafton, I think early 80s, big football guy. And he's also a talented musician. He plays in both of these bands, and they've played at some of our stuff before, and they don't charge us a dime. They don't charge one dime.
That is awesome.
So you got some live music, you got a little softball, one day community. And next year, Bulldog will be that. I'm pretty guaranteeing that Mel's on the Move will be all logoed up. Food trailer will be there.
Ooh.
So it's a fun day. The age comes up. Then we do have some first pitches. I think AJ did one year where we acknowledge some of the lives that we've been able to impact throughout the year. And then they threw out the first pitch before the game.
Yeah, very nice.
Mel, and there's beverages and food to purchase, right?
Absolutely.
So you don't have to bring your stuff.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. They didn't have any carry-ins because obviously that's where we're able to make some money on this.
Right.
But the famous pulled pork Sammys will be there.
Yeah, excellent.
And all the rest, the burgers, brats, hot dogs, Cedar Crest ice cream. And then as far as the beverages, we have a great relationship with Jolly Good Soda. So in Beer Capital, a lot of non-alcohol and obviously adult beverages.
Yep.
Those softball guys, they start playing at 9:00 in the morning. I was young once, and they got no off switch. They'll just sit there all day and they'll play bags and sit around and listen to music. So for one day, it's a good time.
It's better than a good time. It's a blast and doing good stuff for good people. Like, who benefits from this, Mel, when you're raising money? Tell us a little bit for people who don't understand what all the people you touch in lives.
I would say, and AJ, I can say this in front of you because I love you.
Yes,
and
sir.
when I used to, individuals like AJ Ross and those guys, I would run from them when I was younger. Even in my high school years, young adulthood, they've changed my life, and they've changed our organization's life. A guy said something. I heard someone was showing me something. These type of individuals, we complicate life, they simplify it. It's awesome. So anything to do with individuals that got some disabilities going on, Mel's is all in. Well, I'm sure we'll talk at some point. AJ will be at the groundbreaking thing next week for Gateway Sports Academy, the first building out in Saukville.
Yep,
so that's a big part of it. And then obviously over the years when this thing first started, Nikki Dodens and a number of individuals, Ryan Rafinski, that passed away, very young, that we started doing scholarships or family wishes for them. And then community impact, big word. We continue to be blessed. Where can we do the best in the community with the monies that we get? Like at Centennial Park, where this event is, there's a $450,000 All My Friends playground now for all abilities. And I'll never forget that we're sitting with our board, Eddie Bublitz, Don Hahn, our esteemed board. And they're like, we should get involved in this. And I'm like, all right. They said, well, let's dip our toe for the first time and really make a big donation. But back in the day, it still is, $100, $250, and we committed $75,000, which we did not have.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, how are we going to, I said, I don't know, we'll figure it out. So we were the first ones to say we're behind this, and it sort of kick-started it to get it going. And we did it. It was over 5 years, but it got it going where other people, so that's right next to the baseball field. So it's kind of a cool thing that those are combined. So those are some of the things that, bringing Chris Herron into town. He'll be back November 12th, 13th, and 14th. AJ's had an opportunity to meet him. All kinds of things throughout the community. It's really simple for us. Just have fun and impact lives. That's it.
Mel, I got to ask, do other nonprofits in other communities across the country reach out to you guys? Because what you do seems so successful. I mean, you really, and what you've done in Ozaukee County is remarkable. It's a model that I think wouldn't other nonprofits want to somehow emulate, although I'm not sure if they can, because there really is only one Mel. So, I mean, you'd have to find one.
I appreciate that. In regards to that development, I had I've had two ladies contact me. I had to do a Zoom call out they were from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, we have never seen anything like this. And they've been looking for years for the thing in Saukville, because there's so many different, you got industry out there, you got Mel's, you got housing, you're going to have fun. So as we continue to grow, there's more and more in organizations like that talking about Mel's Village. Now, as far as our events and the model, whenever we get asked a lot to meet with groups or say, how do you do this?
Yeah.
And then they meet us and they're like, really, how do you do this?
Wait, you all did this? This is the board?
Or really? We never, ever have been obsessed about how much money we bring in.
Yeah.
All we try to do is have these events. We share our story. We're very transparent where the money goes. And we're just grateful for what comes in. I'll share this story because I'm going to share it at the pig roast too. And I think this exemplifies what's going on here. So we have this Magic Moments dinner dance. It used to be Portal Prom.
Right.
And about 130 individuals with some disabilities enjoy just a beautiful night. And the Cedar High School kids get all dressed up and serve a sit-down dinner from scratch catering. And then a DJ comes and they're playing music and dancing. And it's April. You guys are having a bad day. You just come on over there and witness that. So I swear to you, I'm sitting there by myself off to the side, keeping my mouth shut, just observing this.
All right. There's one problem.
I know. You didn't think I kept my mouth shut.
Here it comes.
Okay. All right. But keep going. Keep going.
So all of a sudden I hear these ladies. Some of them I think were moms and some were caregivers. And all of a sudden I see a little tear coming down this lady's eye. And she goes, oh my gosh, we just moved here. And I'm watching my daughter have the time of her life tonight. I'm just so glad that we moved to this area. Now, we don't know much about Mel's Charities, but I do know I heard that Mel died. And I'm like, how cool is this? So I go walking over there and I'm like, ma'am, that is the greatest thing I have ever heard tonight. And she's like, why? And she goes, who are you? And I said, well, my name's Tom, but my nickname's Mel. Well, now she's mortified. I mean, she's like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry.
I thought you were going to
It's-
go over and say, that asshole, he was the biggest jerk anybody's ever come across.
Good thing you never
No
met
one could
him.
stand him. They thought they'd do it.
It's like Elvis. It's just like,
Yes.
well, we're not sure. He may have, he may not. We don't
Yes.
know.
Or like
No, you didn't do
AJ,
that.
like that could have appeared like as a hologram or something, or a 3D.
Yeah,
There
right,
he is.
right.
Kobe,
Sorry, no.
Mel.
No,
I told the lady, I'm like, the whole goal of this thing, and this is what we continue to work on every day, is when you see this logo, you think of the lives that you're impacting, not some guy that wears a funny hat and talks a lot.
right.
And this is the beauty of what our board is trying to do. 3-month plan, 6-month plan, year succession plan. I mean, this thing has gotten, it's so much bigger than it. Come on, between me or it's this whole community. So Bulldog, you're spot on. I mean, a lot of people look at a distance because some people think we have bought the News Graphic and the Ozaki Press and have basically taken over Facebook because, we're on there all the time.
Would you?
You know, we do not go looking for this stuff.
We got to talk to Lisa Curtis about that.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't just, they usually reach out to us and they're like, oh, you got an event coming up. Can we come over? We didn't set out to do this to get all this publicity. But, when you got AJ hanging out, Ross and Andy and Aaron and Al, and people just see how much fun we're having and just be blessed with whatever money comes in. It's a really simple model. It really is. I think sometimes we're like the anti-nonprofit.
Sure.
Most people get so caught up in subcommittees and
Yes. Yeah.
we give, I mean, when someone says, hey, can you help us out? It doesn't take, if we believe in it, it's not going to take 6 board meetings and like, well, should we really do this or what?
Yep.
Shut
Absolutely.
up.
It's funny for you guys to have like an official, document and edict from the boss. You go to Cedars 3 and pull a tab.
Right.
So we actually, we have a federal EIN number. We have all that legal stuff. But if I were to come on here tonight and I had like a suit coat and tie on and like, well, here at Mel's Charity, you guys would be like, what?
Sound like an
the heck
undertaker.
happened? Right. So we're just going to keep doing this. There's things being put in place. Obviously, the development out in Saukville will sustain our mission way past when the good Lord takes me. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, this is the big event right here. I've got the flyer. You can look at it this way, or obviously go to Mel's melscharities.org, I'm assuming, is the place to go. And there's your roster. Great times for great causes. There's going to be food. There's going to be softball. And
No
Live
carrying
music.
hands allowed, asshole.
Yep.
and that
Yeah.
too.
It's,
Yes.
Right.
AJ Security.
All
So
right.
we'll have AJ.
yeah,
Got the
hey,
head
With a name
bouncer.
like Bokini, all we're gonna say is, "Hey, we got
Yeah.
Bokini on. We got Bokini on security."
hey,
Hey,
man,
yeah,
you don't
man.
want me in security, I let everybody in.
Oh, yeah. But then you take a little taste. Yeah, we know how you operate.
Yeah.
Come meet my uncle.
You know who I am? I'm Mo Green.
But in all
You know who I
seriousness- in all seriousness, Mel, it's a great mission, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And I'm just really happy that it's succeeding. The Saukville thing is going to be really beneficial for me. As you know, I work for Chapman, so it's going to be really beneficial for me to be there every day and see it grow and just grow it from there. So it'd be really fun. It'd be really fun. So I'm excited.
Awesome, AJ. I can see a lot. I can see remote. Because are you still in the Saukville area there, Bulldog?
Oh, you betcha.
All right, yeah, we could maybe right from your house, or we'll be right in that the square they're gonna call it, Mel's Square or whatever.
Oh, fantastic. No,
You can see
it's,
live remote, like a blimp flying over and Jack coming in, and
I'll bring out the bratwurst cannon. I don't bust this out for anybody.
Yeah. There we go. There we go.
all right, you guys, God bless. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Mel. Good to see you. Good.
Thanks,
Best
man. I
of
wish
luck.
you would get wound up and get a little enthusiasm, you know? It's a
Hey,
little-
if you-
come on.
It'd be God's to go time. We just have fun, impact lives. God bless
Excellent.
you guys.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Mel.
Take care.
Take
Thanks.
care.
That is Mel Stanton of Mel's Charities here in the Berg and all the outlying areas too.
the
And
county.
very, very cool.
Well,
That's
because
And
that's
Mel-
another thing people need to know is one of their sayings is what's raised here stays here.
Yeah.
So
I'll
it's
say this on air because you guys know this as well as anybody. Mel changed my life, for real.
great.
When I got hooked up on the radio show, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing, and Mel really said, you got to do this radio show, and you got to. And he scared me because he first said, you got to do it every day, and I'm like, what? Like, not once a week, every day, and it's like, man, it's just been crazy ever since. So,
well, the big secret, of course, you said you didn't know what you're doing, is that that's why he hooked you up with us, because we don't know
Right.
what how we're doing either. So
All the
it
people
really
who
worked
knew what
out
they were
well.
doing said F no.
right, no,
So
right.
it
But
worked
in
out
all
well.
seriousness, I'm so excited for him and so excited for the organization.
Right on.
And,
Good stuff.
It's one of the great. And Mel's is not the only great organization in Ozaukee County. I want to make that very clear.
Very clear.
There are so many that there's so
Advocates of Ozaukee, Mr. Bob's.
There's so many, and I encourage anybody to go to Mel's and go to the nonprofit center and see what they do, just to see what they do for different people, different groups of people. It's just amazing, and it's really something that's special. And me getting around to Mel's and getting around to Mr. Bob's wouldn't be possible without the transportation company. So there's so many people that have impacted me and impacted Mel's, and it's just so great. And
Right on.
Awesome. So
That's awesome. Very cool, AJ. Awesome. Well, we have we got to segue over to Dr. Ben, another giant in the community.
And AJ likes him too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll see him on Thursday.
Oh, are you?
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
I go once a week I go once a week now.
Oh, that's cool. Great.
Form Fitness. So
One
with Jack. So
one day I will too. But on Thursday, I think they're having a special up at Donut Monster, so I gotta,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
so I got that going on.
You can't spread yourself too thin.
I
You know
know.
what I'm saying?
I would never. So there we are. So cool. Well, AJ, it was fantastic to see you. Hope we get to do this again and again and again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Loving your show. The Mafia show is doing well. We're getting some ratings these days, which is great.
And we need a link for tomorrow morning.
You guys are okay. Thank you. First time hearing of it.
No.
Oh.
We talked the other day.
Okay, very good.
We're going in the morning. We're going in the morning. I have T-ball tomorrow night. So
Right on. Okay. Well, AJ will be on the air with Jack tomorrow. Jack will be on the air with
9 to
AJ.
9:30.
Excuse me.
9
Yeah,
a.m.
exactly.
9:30.
The show looks something like this. If you don't show up, we'll come to you. So
This is right.
it works out all right. So let's see if I can get things turned over to Dr. Ben here. I got to do a little.
Once you get it turned over, I'm gonna hop off too.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Top. Go Brewers. AJ, I don't want to talk to you tomorrow if the Brewers lose again. So
Oh boy.
I got you.
I may or may not need to send out a link tonight. We'll find out, I guess.
send a link. Russ says great shows. Thanks.
Very
Russell.
kind, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
But Dr. Ben was on fire about fish. I was on him about fish. Is fish really a good thing? And he's like, oh.
Well, we got this particular segment runs 40 minutes, so clearly he has a few things to say
Oh
about
my God.
fish. Here's the fishier episode of a recent show, Live Forever with Dr. Ben, another one of our fine offerings here on CPL Radio. And gentlemen, we'll talk to you soon. And all of you, the rest of you, hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday, 5:30.
Link
Yes,
for
sir.
Tomorrow.
All right, take care, everybody. Here's Dr. Ben.
Got it. We are live in the Quiz Dome with the doctor.
I think your shirt
Doctor of all knowledge of all things,
Sorry, guys.
physical therapy, and he doesn't claim he's not a legal expert on nutrition, but he is a nutrition nut, and you'd be crazy nuts not to listen to him. With all that being said, the main man is here, Ben Quist.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Oh my gosh.
You deserve it, man. You're a star.
I got a lot to live up to. Man.
You do.
Folks. Yeah, no. I like your caveat too. I'm not a dietitian. I'm just very interested in the topic of nutrition.
That's right.
I find it absolutely fascinating. So take my advice for what it's worth.
That's right. Excellent. How's your week?
Pretty good. Everything's going well. Yep. Glad to have the weekend. The weather's beautiful here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So definitely planning outdoor activities.
And speaking of outdoor activities, I did a morning Jeremiah boot camp out on the platform this morning, the 7:00 class. Margot and I attended. It was a good attendance. It was tough. It was really good. So it was great. Did a little sauna after, That was good.
Go in the sauna.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm healthy as heck and ready to go. Thus the big introduction.
Good. I know. I can tell that your pipes have been cleaned. Your sweat has sweat out. Yeah.
Circulation's flowing.
Coffee has been ingested. So
Yes,
good.
I'm working on that. But Ben, you and I last week, we talked about a lot of things, but one of them was I asked about eating fish, and the question came because, well, again, it's Saturday morning following a Friday night fish fry in Wisconsin, which is a tradition, almost a religion in itself. And we talked about fish, and I know we touched on it before, but you said that's a whole segment. So let's talk about fish and the good, the bad, and the myths that aren't exactly true about fish.
Yeah, no, fish is a really interesting meat source because it is, when anybody thinks about, like, when you see what's on the menu at any restaurant or what people are serving their families, it usually is comprised of a couple different types of meat. It's either chicken, pork, beef, or some type of fish, right? I mean,
right.
That's kind of like the American menu.
Right.
And I don't think anybody, including medical practitioners and, dietitians, everyone always holds fish up as being healthier than the other forms of meat, so it's interesting to me, is that really true? Or is it just certain types of fish? Or, so like all those questions start to come into play. And I do think it's a broader thought process too, as far as meat in general. When I look at like trying to get something out of the plant world that's not meat-based, I try to get things that are unprocessed, things that do not have lots of chemicals in them. And I would put the same thing for meat. When you're trying to get a piece of meat, you're trying to get something that has as little chemicals, as little medications, different things that they use in the meat, and that it is as unprocessed as possible, other than obviously heating it to cook it. So that's where the problems become apparent with meat in that entire category. So it's not just fish, it's all of the different meat sources, is that we just can't get the same kind of meat that we used to be able to get. The meat that your grandfather, the chicken, your grandfather's chicken is very different than the chicken of today, or the beef that we're eating is very different than the beef in the 1950s and the 1920s and so on. And nowhere is that more apparent than fish. The fish that people used to eat, that they caught out of pristine streams and lakes and pulled out of the ocean that wasn't polluted, was a very different animal than it is today. And so that's where it comes in. And I think everybody thinks I'm anti-meat. I'm not. I just think meat is a tough category because, first of all, it is greatly overconsumed by Americans. It doesn't need to be consumed every single meal. And secondarily, it is just really hard to find quality meat. So let's dive into that on fish now. So,
Okay. Cool.
So you immediately think of fish, you think of, the fact that everyone orders like salmon, right?
Right.
So the thing that's happened with fish is that they've started to farm it, which is kind of like the same thing they've done with the beef and the pork and the chickens. They've started to farm them in a commercial for-profit setting. And then all the things about having healthy animals goes right out the window,
So what is a fish farm? I mean, is it just private ponds or small man-made lakes where they grow the fish? I mean, basically, is that how it works, Ben?
I mean, it can be that, but the salmon you get at like Costco or something that's farmed, typically those are in gigantic pens, in a body of water. So picture an enormous pen structure with thousands and thousands of fish in that structure, all stressed out because they're all packed in there, crammed in there, just like the chickens are in their little teeny cages, crapping on top of each other. It is the same kind of scenario. They're all sitting in their own filth in this, pen, and then the worst part about it is, typically fish swim around and they eat other fish, or they maybe eat, some fish eat algae, and these fish aren't eating that anymore. They are now eating like pellets, they're eating like wheat, or I don't know what they feel.
Whatever they give them.
Fish flakes. I don't know what they're feeding, but they're certainly not eating their natural diet. So when you take the salmon, which got the reason people say fish is better because it is high in an omega-3 fatty acid, so they think it's better for you because it has these fats. But when you farm it, the things that the salmon ate to get the omega-3s, they're not eating anymore, which so they no longer have like that good
So that their source of what they turn into consume and turn into a good source for us, they don't have access to that source.
Yeah,
So
they're eating a bunch of, and it's so funny when you get a piece of farm salmon, you can tell. And I had a piece of salmon because many times I'm at a restaurant, I'll be eating, I'm like, oh my God, what is the least not toxic choice on this menu? And many times, salmon is a little bit of a safer bet. And there was something on the menu called Scottish salmon. So I'm like, okay, well, this has got to be wild caught, right? Why would they call it Scottish salmon? So I asked the guy, like, is this a farmed piece of salmon? And he's like, oh yeah, it's farmed. So like, what is the difference between taking a pen and having it in the waters outside of Scotland versus having the pen outside of the waters here in the United States? There's like no difference. Like, who cares if it's Scottish salmon, right?
Right.
It's farmed,
Right.
from Scotland. It was so silly and funny, but I thought it was really funny. They were really proud that it was Scottish salmon, so like it had some special properties, or maybe they have a different kind of fish flake that they're throwing into the pen to feed it. It just, so there are some inherent problems with that. So if you are going to eat, in my opinion, if you are going to eat fish, it's better to try to get wild caught fish.
Okay.
Because of the fact that then many of the circumstances that made those fish healthy to begin with are going to continue to make them healthy because they're doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So that's problem one, is the farming. Problem two is the pollution. So fish are swimming around in very different environments than they used to. And, and this is very well known. Everybody knows this. Even like pregnant women aren't supposed to have swordfish or limit tuna, like all those kinds of things, because there are so many toxins that are built up in these fish. So if you're looking at your fish source, typically you want to try to eat at the lower end of the chain of fish, and by that I mean, typically there's like a little fish, like a sardine or something.
I knew you were going to say a sardine.
I was going to come in here. The little fish is eating like the algae or whatever plants or whatever those things eat, which is, by the way, how they get the omega-3s. So then a bigger fish comes, eats the sardine, right? And then that's how that fish gets the omega-3s, because it ate the littler fish. But any toxins the littler fish get stuck in that fish, and then a bigger fish eats that fish, and all the toxins. So it's called biomagnification, that every time you work up the food chain to these higher level, bigger fish, and tuna, from what I can tell, are gigantic. They're enormous fish, and that's why they're so valuable to fishermen. But they are like way up here. So all those toxins have just magnified to this fish, and then we're eating it, and there are very clear recommendations on really how much of that you should even consume, because you can poison yourself. The other thing, here you are trying to do something healthy. Well, tuna's good for you. I should eat that. I gotta get my sushi, and then you end up poisoning yourself. So it's like,
I love your ignorant dork voice.
This is how we roll. Oh, that's good for me. Oh, it's more complicated than it looks when you're trying to actually get something that is healthier. Because I don't know how you feel. I don't think anyone eats fish for the flavor, right? I mean,
right. You say
I'd much rather have a hamburger or a piece of pork. I mean, I would never eat fish by choice.
Right.
So fish is not even going to be healthier for you. Why the heck are we even eating to begin with?
Well, some people love, again, this is how you cook. We haven't even gotten to how you cook it yet, but some people love how it's cooked and prepared. And I know frying, obviously, but like grilling fish, I know people who do, and last night, I'll get into that, but people grill, the fish and different kind of fish, and it can be delicious. But the first thing everybody says is, oh, it's really tasty. It doesn't taste fishy. No one says about beef, oh, it's really great because it doesn't taste beefy.
It doesn't taste, it doesn't taste right? No,
the bacon doesn't taste like bacon. It's great.
That's a very, very good point. But that's kind of like, if fish kind of tastes nasty to begin with, and we're trying to prepare it in ways that make it not taste so bad, like battering it up and frying it and make it, like all the things you do to make it taste better, if you're going to eat fish, you might as well follow some different guidelines to really try to get the healthiest piece of fish you can get. So we've covered one already. Like, farmed is possibly preferable or better farmed is worse, and wild is better than, so that's one rule of thought when you eat fish. The other one that we talked about just briefly is eating some of those fish that are lower on the chain of command, so to speak, the little guys. And I've done entire episodes on sardines, and you're a big baby, and you're like,
I tried this. I spat it out. I was like, oh,
such a baby. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that. So for your viewers, sardines actually don't taste that bad. Jack's just a baby.
No.
So
Well, this coming from a man who drinks, who on a regular basis drinks smoothies that he himself rates as a C- in flavor. Now, anybody who has that, you disqualify yourself as a food taster. So if you can handle C- shakes on a regular basis, of course you're going to like sardines. You probably put them in your shake. For God's
not
sakes.
fishy. They're actually not that fishy. Everyone always. My thought was that sardines would taste disgusting because that's a big, common knowledge on the street is that they're the grossest of fish. And
Right.
I'll eat them right out of the tin. They actually sometimes taste really, really good depending on what the preparation is and the spices in there. And so I would encourage your audience to experiment and not listen to your comments about the sardine taste. But to experiment with some of the smaller fish. It doesn't have to be sardines. There's many different variations of small fish that are super inexpensive. They come in tins. They're cooked in the tins. They're heated at real high temperatures, which isn't great. But they're in these tins, so they're very travel ready, and they are a fantastic source of protein, many different minerals that you need, and since they are on the low end of the food chain and they are those algae plant eaters, they're high in omega-3 fatty acids, which is why everyone says fish is good for you. So
Okay.
Fish that are high in that particular, and they are very, very low in toxins. So
What are some of the other fish on the good side of the food chain besides sardines? You said there are many.
any of the shorter lived fish, so salmon actually comes out pretty good too. So if you look at the consumer reports, which anyone can simply look up with a Google search, and they rate the different fish and the different amount of toxic metals like mercury and the different things that they have. Salmon came out pretty darn good. So salmon, if it's wild caught again, why would you eat a piece of salmon if it's not good for you? Because I don't think salmon tastes very good.
No, it all depends on how you prepare it. So here's the thing. All right, I'm going to interrupt because salmon. I was out. I have a client who he's a fisherman. He just loves the sport of fishing, mostly catch and release. However, half dozen times a year, he takes out a charter on Lake Michigan. And he asked me to go with him. And I've never gone salmon fishing besides with him. And I go once a year. So about a month ago, we went out and you get a license for a day. You can catch up to 5 per person. And that's your limit. So we caught 20 fish in like 2 hours when you're done. Now, is that wild caught salmon? Is that what you consider to be good for me? Or is there, because Lake Michigan has its problems too, right? So if it's coming out of Lake Michigan, does that take away all the good parts of it or not? How do you rate that?
You'd have to look into that, but you're exactly right. You have to really look at where the wild caught fish came from. So as you said, Lake Michigan's a huge body of water, but it does have some problems. I know there are posted right where I've done that before as well. There's little signs that tell you how much of the fish you're allowed to eat, right? You don't eat than this amount per week of this particular fish type, because they're worried about you getting too many toxins. So you would have to research that a little bit, but the more pristine the waters are where the fish are coming from, the better for the wild caught fish. So then there's, again, the whole inherent problem of where do you get that fish from, the wild caught fish from these really pristine waters that hardly exist in the world anymore. And then you and onto your dinner table in a fashion that is affordable, it's really becoming something where unless you want to spend a lot of money on the fish that you're buying, it is really kind of outside of the reach for people for, convenience sake, affordability, and everything else to try to, and also who wants to be researching I got to be really careful about the fish that came out of this particular river or that one, and that's why I have kind of deferred to some of the smaller little baby fish, because there are many fish that simply aren't farmed at all. They don't farm sardines, right? They don't farm any of those little type fish. Like there's no farms I know of. Maybe they do somewhere, but it's not something that they're doing in a broad way to make money. So, and that's where I think getting some of those smaller, littler guys is again a way where you can circumvent the toxicity issue, and then the affordability is super good and they're really convenient.
So are anchovies? I don't like anchovies, but are they? They're a little fish, right? Aren't they supposed to be a little? Or so? All right,
they're fish too.
Okay, so you said I interrupted you on the salmon, but so you said sardines, salmon actually come out pretty well. Was it you? Not only are tuna big, but it was either, I believe it was, I'm sorry, I can't, it was either you or Jeremiah were talking about tuna, saying that it has a lot of metal in it. Is that right? That
Yeah, 100%. I mean, because it's a long-lived fish, so, and it also eats a lot of other fish, so it is at the very top of like the toxicity measurements, so a lot of those big, because they're eating all the little fish and they're getting all the toxins that have built up, over the time of doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, mercury is one that is typically cited with tuna as being pretty high. So like your sushi grade tuna or the different things that people, it is also still high in omega-3 fatty acids, and it's also not farmed, right? You don't farm tuna, but it doesn't matter just because of the biomagnification of the fact that tuna ate so many other polluted fish before you're eating it.
So the fish that as a kid watching TV and you'd see commercials for Chicken of the Sea or Starkist was the other, they were all tuna. So all those, we were brought up like tuna, it's good for you. It's
fish
this, right. Yeah.
So you have to remember there are several different kinds of tuna. So the sushi grade tuna you get at your restaurant, or the fried piece of tuna, they like sear it or whatever. It's very delicious. I actually think tuna tastes really good. Is different potentially than the tuna that comes in the can. There are different fish types in that category. So some of them, you'd have to do a little bit of research on that. When I was researching the sardine video that we did, we were talking about canned tuna, and you can't put it in the exact same category as like regular gigantic tuna that are swimming out that you would get at a restaurant per se. So so that's something that your audience would have to research a little bit.
Okay. So it's funny, not funny, but it's interesting that everything we talk about diet or nutrition wise, it's always more complicated than you think. It's not fish good, something bad. There's always more to it. I mean, and unless you want to just be led around by your nose, you got to do a little bit of research on your own to figure it out.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And the final thought on fish, and this is again meat in general, is it is extremely well documented, well known that when you cook meat at high temperatures, toxins are produced. You can oxidize some of the fats and different things and make them not as good. You can, there are AGEs that are formed, HC, homocysteine, I can't even pronounce it, but there are different things that are produced when you cook something at high temperature, especially if it's charred. So I think grilling is the most tasty way to cook any piece of meat. But unfortunately, grilling is super high temperature and it chars the meat. And it is one that it creates a lot more carcinogens than lower temperature cooking methods. So again, if you're going to have a piece of, you go through the effort of getting a wild caught piece of salmon, and then you go and you grill it, and you create all these carcinogens on the exterior, from grilling it, you'd probably better off doing a lower heat method like baking or something like that. So yeah, so you're right. It is super, super complicated. And that goes for all meats. Any tissue that you're going to cook, when you cook it at high temperature, you damage it, and it creates different things that aren't good for us to ingest. So take that.
Of all that ranks up there, Ben. That takes me back to when you said, I don't know if you remember your top 10 worst foods to eat. And of course, number one was my favorite food, which is pizza. That just about killed me. Now, you just brought up killer comment number 2 of all time from Ben Quist, which is don't grill. And the way I grill to keep the flavor in. So in a lot of meats, you sear each side so that it holds and the cooking stays inside the piece of meat and it tastes wonderful. But now you're saying by searing it, it's a bad thing.
Look into that. Look into healthier ways to grill. If you marinate the meat, it helps to prevent the compounds from forming. Like there's different ways to start that, but just be aware that high heating methods can cause carcinogens on the product that you're heating if it's meat. If you heat vegetables at high heat, like you grill vegetables, that doesn't happen. It's something in the animal flesh that causes that. So people that are grilling broccoli or cauliflower on the grill, you grill away. You char the crap out of that stuff. It's not going to hurt you.
What a ripoff. Oh, man.
I know.
It's nature's ripoff.
I eat a lot less meat than I did. And I put meat more in a once in a while category or a dessert category, for me, because it's just really hard to find it. Pizza's the same thing, Jack. Like, there's food is too tasty and yummy to be like, okay, I'm going to be this pristine, puritanical eater, and I'm never going to do this and never do that. The thing that I always argue when I talk to clients, I advise is like, okay, well, 80% of the time, you're just eating for sustenance, right? You're trying to get to work and you're trying to get your breakfast down. So does your breakfast have to be this opulent, fat laden, sugar processed, gigantic muffin from Starbucks? Can't we do something a little healthier for that meal? But then on the weekend with your friends, have something that is fun to eat, like pizza or, a grilled ham. Like, who cares? Like, you have to live life. But it's just, if you put, like, in my opinion, if you put like 8% of your foods in that healthier category, and like 20% or 10% are in that little bit more, riskier or dangerous category, you're going to probably be a lot better off.
Okay. Well, it'll help you to know, Ben, that since you've been talking today, one of our big fans, who's also a musical superstar, cut her own album. Kelly Dupuis Schmidt said, "So true." And read the ingredients always. She's right on it, and she's wonderful, and she's a fox. So things are. If you follow Kelly, you're doing the right thing. I can tell you that. All right. So I got a couple more fish questions for you. Got like another minute or two?
Yep.
Okay. The big thing, one of the big things now in New York City, the place where all the restaurants are the cutting edge sushi. The instead of remember when dry aged steaks became the big thing, and that was like the big hot trend. Now the big trend in New York City, and I'm sure it's going to travel inland, is dry aged branzino. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Are you familiar with the branzino fish? I've seen it.
Heard of it, like once or twice.
It's like a fish that's as big as a plate, but they serve it to you. I mean, the head's still. I mean, you pretty much they bring it and they open it up, I think, and then you eat from the inside. But it's that, and that's like getting the big bucks. And they say it aged even. And when you think of fish, what's the first thing I always think of? Fresh fish. Right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. I'm sure they know what they're doing.
Well, maybe for taste, but okay. All right. Well, that's what I have. So if we can just shift over, you mentioned something really early on, Ben, which you always do, and I write it down, so I got to come back to it, which is you just mentioned whether it's fish or any other kind of meat. Now, a couple things. The grass-fed, when you see grass-fed beef, or is that a real deal, or is that like just bullshit marketing? Not that marketing's ever bullshit. I'm a marketing guy.
I looked into that a little bit because I wanted to do an episode on that, because I like that this is bullshit, and I have to look into that more. I'm wary of anything produced on a large scale,
Okay.
I'm sure, and I have bought, brown chuck and different things for my children. I don't really eat red meat that much because of its inherent danger of heart disease. But like they do, so there are tons of places you can order that I think appear to be reputable, where they're like large farms where the beef is still out there roaming the pastures, doing the thing that made it maybe a little more healthy to begin with, which is eating the grass, which brings in all of the good stuff into the cow that you then get from eating the cow meat. And it's so fascinating. So have you heard of vitamin K?
No.
Vitamin K, K2
I've heard of.
K has a bunch of different variants, but it's so funny. Like it's a hot button vitamin right now. You know how like vitamin D was, like, we've gone through all the vitamins. Like there's vitamin C, and then there's vitamin E, and then they kind of like poo-poo. Oh, vitamin E actually causes heart disease, but vitamin K is one of that they're really looking at right now for bone health, heart health, blah blah blah. And you can get it from cheese and meat, and it's so funny. Where the cheese and meat, where they get it from the grass. So again, if you are going to eat meat that hasn't been eating the grass, you're losing one of the most valuable components in meat, which is getting that vitamin, which we need.
We got somebody who's asking the question, Kelly again, the hot rock star, country rock star. How do you feel about all the ketos? Did you say keto or keto? What has it been? Keto?
Diets, keto diets.
Keto. Yeah. Is that a whole other topic for another day?
I can briefly summarize it.
Go ahead. Would you?
So ketogenic diets are diets that are very low carbohydrate, and they're very high in fat. and many times high in protein as well. Most of the experts that I respect, so the PhDs that are actually doing the research on longevity, the individuals that are, doing the studies, and just my own personal observations watching, people over 25 years try out all these different diet fads and things. The ketogenic diet is the diet of death. It is one of the worst things you can possibly do for your body long term, in my opinion. There are certain medical instances where they use it as a medical treatment therapy for certain disease processes, but I can't imagine a reason in which someone would want to go ketogenic for a long period of time. Especially the type of ketogenic diets that eliminate vegetable mass and, things of that nature, because it's frankly hard to get a lot of the good carbohydrates that the body was designed to eat when you're obviously on a diet that excludes carbohydrate, so
Right.
So yeah, high protein diet. I mean, Dr. Walter Longo, he was, on the Netflix special. He's the guy that did all the mice and ages them. And there was Zac Efron was on that special with this other big built health expert. Not the other expert has very big muscles. And the Dr. Longo, he's an Italian researcher, was talking to them, and he was talking to them how protein intake, really high protein intake, ages the body faster and causes a lot of inherent problems. So one of the things that, and you can see both, like Zac Efron and the guy are like, oh, darn it, dang it.
Yeah, that's how I am when you're talking.
So
I know that face.
But many times you just have to think of it, the diets that produce large muscles or produce great growth in the human body might be good for bodybuilding, or it might be good for, maybe there's a diet that's good for fat loss, but many times those diets are not good for long-term health, so you want to pick the diet approach where it is going to be good for your long-term health and longevity, in addition to supporting muscle growth, in addition to doing all the other things, and it's my own personal belief, and also many of the greatest experts in the world, that the ketogenic diets for the regular population is one of the worst routes you possibly could take.
Okay.
And I'll finish on one other statement. So there's a cardiologist I really respect, Dr. Josh Lieberman. And so, Josh knows I'm super into heart disease. And I was asking him, like, Josh, so he's been a cardiologist for a long period of time. I really respect him. He's got a great mind. Like, Josh, who have you seen in your practice who dies of heart attacks more? Like, so you got different people, because there are people who think ketogenic diets are the way to go for heart disease too. Like, who doesn't make it? Who are the ones that just keel over and die of heart attacks in your practice? And he's like, it's all the Atkins people, it's the ketogenic people. Like, he and there's boots on the ground. This guy is actually mission. He's seeing, okay, this person is doing this, high protein, high fat diet, which is purportedly healthy for what he's trying to do, and then he dies of a heart attack. So it's just interesting to me. So I try to take all the information I can and then synthesize it, and then do it on myself. But that was
you digest it. Haha.
Yes, I digest it, but that's a really long answer, so I'm sorry. But
no. Kelly says thank you very much. She appreciates it. All right, one last one. I know you got stuff, but it's meat related, and it's about pork. Now, to me, this is the opposite, but hear me out before you start shaking your head. No, when I was a kid, they would say, and growing up, pork was always the meat you had to be the most careful of. You had to make sure it was thoroughly cooked so you didn't get the dreaded trichinosis. I mean, even as a kid, you knew the trick. You knew the T word. I didn't know what the hell it was, but I knew it was bad. So now I've had recently somebody tell me that since trichinosis was caused because the pig farmers used to literally feed their pigs garbage, it's a slop. Anything went, the pigs would eat anything. And that was why it had to be cooked. So now the pig's diet is much better than it used to be. So trichinosis is not as much of a concern. You heard anything about that? Does it sound like BS to you? Does it matter?
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I think the government sources, and obviously they don't want the pork industry doesn't want anyone getting trichinosis, right? That would not surprise me, cleaning up the feed, but it would also not surprise me at all if the feed that they are feeding them are things that don't normally support good health and pig, So I mean, that's just my own personal.
Maybe they have all the pigs on the keto. The pigs are on the keto diet.
Yeah, so you see the Netflix special where all the pigs are in this big dark warehouse. There's thousands of them, and they're packed in there, and they're eating each other's tails off, and they have lesions all over their bodies, and they have to inject them with antibiotics constantly because they're all getting sick because they're under such stress and in such bad circumstance. You're like, is that the type of meat you want to eat?
No.
Very different than little old Bessie the pig that used to live on the family farm. You cook her up and she's delicious. Doing her thing, being a happy pig for, then you eat a nice big old slab of Bessie. Like, that's, in my mind, that's the way to go. We should also have family farms again, just cook. But that's the inherent problem with meat. So
yeah, you should know the animal you eat is what you're saying. You should have it, name it, and know it before you kill it. Eat it. All right.
They're doing that. They're buying a cow at a local farm. Like, I know, like, my neighbors down the street do that. They buy a cow. They go visit the cow. They see the cow. They see what the cow's eating the grass. Like, and then the cow eventually gets butchered, and then they have meat for a really long time. So
4-H county fairs. People bid on the whatever. Where I think it's cows and pigs. I think, but anyway, all right. Well, we went all over as usual, Ben. I've learned you could never be an Olympic swimmer because they all have to stay in their lane. And I asked one question, and you're over 3 lanes, then you come back another one, but then I throw fuel on the fire because you say something that makes me think of something else, and then I have to ask it. So
it's your fault.
Yes, yes. I've heard that a lot in my life, and I'm good with that. Well, thank you very much. As usual, you are full of information and a fun way. What's going on at the gym? I heard this morning Jeremiah was talking about your teaming up with Mel's Charities to do a big event that's open to the public.
Yep, super excited about this. So we are doing an event in August called Muscles for Mel's, and so we are offering on one of the days. I can't remember the exact date.
Saturday the 24th.
24th. So we're having a kind of like 5 different group exercise classes offered. One's like a boot camp, one's like a dance class, one's a yoga class, one's a senior class, where people can sign into the class. And this is community members, this is our gym members, anyone can sign up for this. And it's $20 to take a class. That money 100% goes towards Mel's to support their charity, which is a charity for disabled individuals. So we're going to have those classes. And then as soon as the classes are done, because they're all at the same time, the Special Olympics is having a powerlifting event at Foreign Fitness Grafton, which I think is going to be awesome. One other gym did a Muscles for Mel's event last year, and the gym owner told me that it was the highlight of the entire event when these guys came out, different individuals with their disabilities, and they were hamming it up, and they were having fun, and they were doing their bench press or their deadlift. So it's just going to be a really fun event to support Mel's charity, in addition to support the Special Olympics athletes. So I am really excited about it. So we are going to do our best to get information out to the community so people can come and help support that.
It's a great thing. I follow Mel's quite a bit, and we've had, AJ. That's how I met AJ through Mel. Mel introduced us, recommended AJ to the program. Yep. Mel's, the Muscles for Mel's, those guys go to the Special Olympics has a powerlifting competition. They did really well at the state powerlifting. It's just fantastic. And another thing that people might not know about Mel's, we're located here in Ozaukee County in Wisconsin. All of the money that Mel's raises goes to events or people, or whether they do special needs and also memorial scholarships are their 2 big things. All stays right here within Ozaukee County's borders. Yep. So everything, one of their sayings is, what's raised here stays here. So
it's an amazing charity. He's done such a good job. I think his actual name is Tom, but
it's Tom Stanton.
I think he goes by either name.
Yeah, he does. He's known as, it's a long story, but I've known Mel since I was going into college. But he got the name because he was he would imitate the guy Mel Tillis, the famous stutterer who the country singer, and so these people started calling him Mel. So that's how he got the name. Anyway, Mel's Charities, great organization, really deserving, and really excited about that. Saturday the 24th. So Jeremiah's been telling the classes about it and saying everybody spread the word. It's a great organization. It'll be a great day.
Yep. And next week we're starting to market that for real. So they'll be in the newspaper. You'll have QR codes you can scan to sign up, or even if you just want to make a small donation to Mel's, we are matching whatever donation that our members do. So our goal is that through those classes we raise $1,000, and we will match whatever amount our membership rate. So Form of Fitness will then match that. You know,
Fantastic.
it's not like the local grocery store where they round up your thing and then tell how much money they donated to charity. It's actually like our money. We're gonna put our money in there too.
Ouch.
Sorry. That always bugs me. Round up charity. And they're celebrating how much money they raise for charity. Okay, whatever.
All right. So that's great. That's an event. Anything, you have any summer specials going on at the gym for people thinking about joining up?
Not really right now. It's just the regular old. We always do trial passes, things of that nature to come in and kind of check it out. But it's a slower time of year for us for membership typically. But although we've been seeing amazing growth this year, so we are just so happy that the community is supporting us, and you know the comeback after COVID was amazing. So, but yeah. So, but no specials right now.
Okay. Well, it's a special place to go. I go this morning. I started off with an outdoor workout with a professional trainer who it's a fun group. And then afterwards I got into the sauna and shower. I mean, it's a great setting, and it makes you get your weekend. Talk about getting your weekend kicked off the right way. Yep. So there. So there's a lot of special things going on. It's just not a special, but it's a special place. Very cool. Well, thanks very much. Appreciate all your insights, and you're putting up with me and your sense of humor, Ben. You're okay. You're okay. And you made Kelly Dupuis Schmidt, who is a country rock star, very happy. I'm sure she'll be maybe send you an autographed guitar or something.
Yeah, sure. All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Hey, stay away from the grill unless you
I will.
don't char it.
Just vegetables.
See ya.